You might not consider a window regulator or a motor a diagnostic item, but I've got a diagnostic strategy that you can use where you don't even have to take the door panel off. Next.
This video is sponsored by TrackMotive. 4 great lines, 1 great company. Visit trackmotive.com for more information.
To make the windows go up and down, it requires a lot more than just a motor and a switch to change the polarity. Involved in it is a window regulator with tracks, and also there's modules involved that could be switches and other things on the vehicle to make the window go up and down. So how do you diagnose a window regulator and motor without removing the door panel? The first tool to use is a scan tool. With a scan tool, you can confirm operation of the switch going up and down, also operation of the motor by using a bidirectional controller, and also you can look at communication between the different modules that interact with the window and the switch itself. The next tool that doesn't involve removing the door panel is actually a scope. You may use this on high-end engine diagnostics, but it works just as well on a window for measuring the current being drawn by the motor itself. The current is also dependent on the amount of effort it takes to raise and lower the window. More current equals more resistance on the tracks. And if you look at a scope and you look at the operation, you could see different areas where the window might be binding or there's issues with the weather stripping or the felts on the window itself. What you need to do is hook up an amp clamp to the fuse for the window itself in the fuse box of the vehicle. This way you don't have to remove the door panel to connect to the wires on the motor to measure the current. You could do this with a loop that has a fuse in it. Also, the great thing about a scope, if you change your time scale, you can actually look at the armature and brushes on the motor itself. As the motor rotates, it should have a nice smooth pattern like this. If there's any dropouts or changes in that pattern, well, you know that either the motor or the brushes themselves have failed inside the casing. So if you've used those two methods before you pulled off the door panel itself, now it's time to pull that door panel and do a visual inspection, because your eye is probably your most valuable tool in your toolbox. Make sure that you inspect the window regulator top to bottom. Look at the cables, make sure they're not kinked. Look at the plastic parts, make sure they're not worn out or damaged. Make sure that there's not any issues with the environment the window regulator is living in. Often a door can have water intrusion, and this will cause rust and corrosion. When it comes time for replacement, make sure that you do the complete job and replace the entire window regulator and motor assembly if necessary. If you try to do the customer a favor by just replacing a clip or a cable, well, it's going to come back to haunt you, and you're going to have a very angry customer when they come back when their window is not working again. I'm Andrew Markel. Thank you very much.